It's really nice to be here, isn't it? Yeah. My first poem is just called If Love. If love can build a bridge, can affection put up a shelf? It's not my best work by any stretch. It's just a little kind of warm-up for me. What I thought I'd do, I've actually written a bespoke renewable energy poem. I've contemplated solar panels. But I thought I'd just try and bond with you, first of all, over our shared human fallibility, if that's okay. Yeah, I'll take that as a yes. And this poem is called Work's Perks, and it's for anyone in the room who at any point in their working life has taken something home from work of which there were loads around, no one was going to miss it, but which perhaps from a very strict legal perspective could be construed as theft. My sense is I'm not alone here in this. Can we have a quick show of hands? Are we up for that? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. There's a very discreet Mexican way of going around the room. It's just called, I should say, because I've been going around talking to people today, and I've actually amassed quite a nice array. That's what gave me the idea, in fact. So thanks to all the stands today. Works, perks. It's just a little thing. I wouldn't call it pilfering or petty theft. I took one, yes, but look, there are so many left. I'm in on time, I smile, work hard. Why should my conscience twitch or flinch? Each working week you take a yard, so why begrudge me my half inch? You take the best hours of my day. What do you give me? Take home pay. I'm so tired I can hardly speak. You take the best days of my week. You take the best weeks of my month. I take some paper, this hole punch. You take the best months of my year. I take this swivel chair, oh dear. You take the best years of my life, a laminator for the wife. So now please look the other way. I need my little takeaway to give myself a token raise, to supplement my take-home praise. Some get to meet celebrities or go on junkets overseas. I'm simply taking some of these, some paper clips, some folder files, a Pritt stick, stapler, carpet tiles. Some Tipex, a waste paper bin, this thing for putting thingies in, this ream, okay, this box of reams, this laptop. Well, you took my dreams. How did it ever come to this? My perky, chirpy perquisites have been turned into exhibits. These trinkets I gave house room to, exhibits A to W. Don't ask what reason or what rhyme drove pretty me to petty crime. Nobody's perfect. I guess it built up over time because I'm worth it. Thank you. Now, thank you very much. It's nice that you clap. It's nice that you clap. Clapping at the end of a poem doesn't necessarily mean, oh, Matt, that was great. It just kind of means, oh, that's the end of the poem. On we go. Should be a nice, warm, buoyant feeling. I haven't got many feelings. Basically, actually, what we should do at this point is just perhaps go around the room and just share things we've taken from work. Would that be nice? Is that a bit too Totnessy? Well, what I'll just crack on. I've done a bespoke poem, and it's called "The Shock of the New," and it's about the very first time I stumbled across, completely unexpectedly, a solar farm, a field of solar panels, and it took me completely by surprise. And it was quite an interesting response. I should put this in context. I come from Totnes. Quite. There's a few remarks which I can't hear, but I suspect there's a certain wry irony. For those of you who don't know Totnes, quite eco, spiritually seeking, navel-gazing. No matter where you go in Totnes, you're never more than 15 feet from an aromatherapist. It's that kind of place. We're quite soft. Even the water in Totnes is very soft, so much so when it gets out into the open sea, it gets picked on by harder waters from other regions. It's that kind of place. What else can I say? I mean, I'm very comfortable there. I'm into alternative technology, complementary medicine, and cutting-edge psychotherapy. And I've been involved in a project to develop a car that runs entirely on suppressed rage. It's fantastic. We started out with a scooter powered by anxiety, but it used to speed up when it came to a hazard. And so we had our funding cut. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if you know, Totnes is now a transition town. I think I'm aware from being here earlier that a lot of people here know what a transition town is. Am I right? For those of you who don't, I got the wrong impression. First of all, when I heard about transition town Totnes, I thought Totnes was kind of pioneering a new kind of twinning system. And that town, was going to pioneer twinning with processes and feelings. So Totnes would be twinned with transition. And like Newton Abbot up the road would be twinned with despair. And Dawlish will be twinned with regret, and it's that kind of thing. But that's not the case. Totnes is still twinned with Narnia, and everything's in its place. And because also, and the transition thing is actually a response to peak oil and climate change. You know about these things. I actually thought, I thought peak oil was that the world's supply of olive oil was running out, and I thought it's the end of salad dressing as we know it. And it's bad, but it's not that bad. My sort of family, we joined a transition streets group, which we became eco-opportunists, and we got a grant to put solar panels on the roof, and it's changed my relationship to the elements. So now when the sun comes out, let's put the kettle on, let's buy a dishwasher, or those kind of things, all those kind of responses. And although I've been a member of the Cloud Appreciation Society for many years, I've actually let my membership lapse because my relationships have changed. And although in Totnes, this is all context for my bespoke poem, by the way. It's all quite important that you kind of go with me, my picture of Totnes. We've got a slight NIMBY problem in Totnes. I have to own my own, but I have a meta NIMBY, and I don't want any NIMBYs in my backyard. You kind of with me? It's a kind of subtle thing. And we've got nymphs. Nymphs in Totnes, not in my forehead, which is a very strong anti-Botox movement. Actually, just as an aside, I'll give you my Botox poem, which I think you like. It's called Botox. Early onset taxidermy. It's quite strong, quite punchy. And it's no need to clap the three-word poems, but thank you for the thought. I seriously worry sometimes that poem might offend people. But if it did offend them, how would I tell? What an interesting concept. We've got this NIMBY problem. We've got Tresot, which is Totnes Renewable Energy Society, who are struggling. They want to put up a wind farm, and it's there's a strong kind of NIMBY anti-wind farm thing going on. They're also doing this thing with anaerobic digestion, which I'm kind of against because I don't think it's really an energy thing. I think it's a condition. Not comfortable with it, but I'm getting to the poem, just setting the context. Early this morning, Jeremy Leggett of Solar Century said people in the renewables world would do well to study neuroscience because the resistance to renewables is not a rational thing and can't be necessarily engaged with in a rational way. It's to do with a visceral response, it's to do with tribalism, it's to do with comforting narratives. And I actually have studied neuroscience in a very haphazard way. And I'm aware of the reptilian brain, which kind of governs the kind of things you just have no control over, the limbic brain, which is the fight or flight response, and the neocortex, which will sometimes listen to Radio 3, which is kind of really advancing. And what's beginning to happen in evolutionary terms is that the limbic brain is joining in with the cortex to create the NIMBY brain. And the NIMBY brain doesn't just have a fight or flight response, it has a fight or flight or start a strongly worded petition response. And I actually contacted my own NIMBY brain when I first saw a solar farm. My first response was, what is this? If I was a dog, I would have barked at it. Within a couple of seconds, I'd recognized it for what it was, and I had a sort of epiphany of recognition and awareness of this is my kind of thing. I love it. It's wonderful. So this poem is an exploded moment. I take you through the first half second, the second half second, and through the further half seconds, right from the consternation, bewilderment, and confusion to the wonder of recognition and epiphany. And you have to picture a solar farm in your mind, or it doesn't make any sense at all. So just hold that image. The shock of the new. I turn a corner. Whoa, slow down, stop. Jaws drop. What is this crop? In ranks across a 5-acre field, an immaculately tidy, strangely symmetrical yield. In the first half second, the NIMBY in me stirs, the NIMBY brain whirs. It says, dark wafers, on guard. It sees Darth Vader's business card. The unprepared brain, with no clues and no hints, sees an alien invasion, sees the first wave of frighteningly disciplined after-dinner mints, sees an angle-poised posse of glossy, super-intelligent plank life. The second half-second, the NIMBY brain begins to calm. It sees they come in peace and mean no harm. It sees supplicant placemats, members of the most worshipful order of coasters. It sees a huge page of redacted Sudoku. Give it space. It sees an open-air warehouse of flat-pack goth garden furniture. In the first half of the second, a light begins to dawn. My skin begins to tingle as I apprehend their angle is the optimum to catch the sun. And then I see synchronized sunbathers, expectant rectangles, oblongs of elegance in their very element, the element in the room, siphoning off the sunshine, creaming off a crop of sunbeams. In the second half of the second, I say hooray for the array who with silent simplicity turn light to electricity and my dismay into delight. They are kin to my panels, my own PV that washes my clothes and boils my cup of tea. And then I reach epiphany and see a choir of angles in a cathedral of stained dark windows, deep as ink, sacred insatiables whose job it is to drink radiance. Windows to a future not only doable, but so much more renewable than the namby-pamby NIMBY in me or anyone cares to think. And that's enough poetry. Thank you.